Welcome to Just Ranked, where four middle-aged men rate songs with the confidence of someone who still thinks CDs are the future. Now, what we do is we rate our four top songs of that week's topic. This week's topic is The Police, the band from the 80s. The Police. To follow us, just go to justrankedpod.com. You'll find a link to all our socials, our podcasts, everything you want to know about us. And if you're watching a YouTube video, click like, subscribe, and click the little bell. If you're actually listening to the audio, which is cool because with the audio, you get to hear the music, where on YouTube, you don't. You want to go ahead and click either download or obviously subscribe to that as well, or follow, or whatever how it is on your platform. My name is Joe. Please. We got Jimmy, and we got Chris, and we got Dink. This week, we start off with The Police. And Jimmy, you start out this week, don't you?
I believe I do. And this is so exciting. The Police. For those of you that you don't know, I am a drummer, or was a drummer. And one of the biggest reasons I started playing the drums is because of Stuart Copeland. Love Stuart Copeland. Love The Police. So I'm going to start with number 4. Pretty straightforward. It's off their second album, Regatta de Blanc. In French, loosely translate to white reggae. Message in a Bottle. This is such a it's a profound song because the guy's sad and alone, sitting on an island and doesn't know what to do. So he keeps sending these messages out, sends them out, and one day he wakes up to 100 million bottles, 100,000 bottles washed upon a billion, 100 billion bottles washed upon the shore. He's not alone anymore. He's
he never was.
He's got joy in his life. And it's just such a great song. And in this song, if you fast forward to 2.04 or 2 minutes 4 seconds into the song, it's his best playing ever. It's amazing. He's syncopated. He's doing above and beyond the song. He's playing past the song, and it's I love this song so much. You guys,
it's one of my favorites. This is my hardest show to do so far to date. There's so many songs could be my top 4. This was on my short list for many, many reasons. Just like you, Stuart Copeland. I know about you, but Stuart Copeland is my favorite drummer. Just his little accents and the fact he can play 4/4 and make it not sound like it's on 4/4. He'll play on the upbeat a lot of times. You won't ever play on the one beat. The stuff he does, and he totally downplays. Another guy who is great, if you ever seen an interview, is an immense wealth of knowledge and he wants people to learn things. He's another great interview to listen to. Yeah, listen to him. But yeah, this song was definitely on my short list.
Well, when you listen to those interviews, a lot of engineers and producers that have been involved with them, their comment is, "Where's the one?" Most
yeah, exactly.
1, 2. It's where's the one? He's like 2, 3, 4, and he keeps going. Yeah, love it. You guys?
Oh, great song. Did not crack my list, but great choice. They've, like you said, they have so many great songs, right? Like if you like them, I don't know why I disclaim that on every show. If you like them. Well,
because not everybody likes them. I got a lot of people that would like, why would you do The Police? What do they do? They don't
why would you not, right? Like, yeah, like they have such a good catalog, right? It's not massive either.
And Unfriended.
And blocked and deleted.
And goodbye.
5 albums. They did 5 albums.
Yeah.
5 albums, man.
They were done really, really quickly. And how they went through their recording process, it was so combative, and there was so much frustration and so much like, I want to have my voice. And through all of that, it all worked out well, and they all had their own voice. The unsung hero of all of them is Andy Summers, the guitar player. because Stuart Copeland is a drum god and Sting is Sting, and Andy Summers took a back seat. But the whole concept of all of the songs, the way they're all laid out, is all Andy Summers, and he just doesn't get the credit he deserves.
No, again, one of my all-time favorite guitarists, and he's not a conventional guitarist at all. I mean, his solos are sometimes just completely different from the rest of the song. They're not melodic. They're not even hard. They're not scales. They're no melody. It's just, but it fits the song for what the song needs. And if the song needs a chaotic nonsense solo, he does it, and it fits perfectly.
I mean, Synchronicity 1. That's his solos. Yeah.
I didn't really like. I mean, it's not that I dislike Sting, but I didn't buy any of his stuff after he left Police. Like when he went solo,
Same.
just something about them together that
Special.
wow.
Yeah.
Just wow. Right?
Very wow, right? Yeah,
For me, anyway.
You love Sting solo, but I'm the same way, Chris. He didn't lose me. I paid attention, but it never really caught me like the Police did.
Well, for me, it gained more traction, and it made me want to hear more. And so I became a big Sting fan. I mean, I know Joe's a big Sting fan too. So I'm Synchronicity is hands down my favorite Police album. So I mean, we're going to get probably further into that. So I'm going to go into 2 if you guys are okay, or 3. Yeah. Sorry, 3.
3.
All right. So 3 is third album, Zendata Mandata. The album, the name of the album is 100% gibberish. They named it because it sounded good together.
It means nothing.
That's it.
I love it.
What I found was cool about this album is the first album took 9,000 pounds to make. The third album took 35,000 pounds to make, which is twice the budget. Driven to Tears is the song, and there's such a cool vibe to this song, and you can go forward to the Sting songs and get this same inflection. And I'm just a huge fan of this song. That's pretty much for that. Demolition Man is from the same album. It was given to Grace Jones, a Jamaican artist, and they did not like that version, so they said, fuck it, we're going to make our own. And famously, it was from a soundtrack. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank here. Didn't write it down. Demolition Man. Oh my God, I'm fucking stupid. I'm stupid.
Oh, and then after you're gonna be like, oh, clearly it was like a James Bond movie or something.
But that's the beautiful thing about this show. Nothing's edited out. It's all real time, baby. You get everything.
Even when we fucked up.
It'll come to you.
So that's pretty much Driven to Tears. It's such a beautiful song, and it's extremely polished, and there's such a huge jazz feel, which previous to this was more a reggae feel, and previous to that was punk. So there was a punk Jamaican jazz feel to everything coming on from this. That's it.
Well, that's a good choice.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's always on my short list because, I love this band. There's not a song by this band I don't like. There's not one song. I love every song by this band.
Agreed.
I can't even say that with Prince. Prince has got a couple of bad, like really bad songs. But this band, 5 albums in 6 fucking years. 5 albums in 6 years, dude. They were in and out. No one got hurt, and they're out of here.
Yeah,
and just at the top, the peak. People forget 1983, 1984. Before, in 83, 84, they were the top of the world, man.
The top. And then
they could have easily done Synchronicity 2.
Right.
At the album, they could have done the same thing again. Because if you listen, from the first album to the last album. It's such a grand progression. It still sounds like the same band, but if you take the first album and put it against the last album, they sound completely different. Again, sound like the same band. There's a progression there.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you about nobody got hurt. They
That's true.
God,
I mean,
Stuart
did wicked ribs.
There was some
right. By the time it came to Synchronicity, it became the Sting show, and they're all like, "Fuck you! I'm going to overplay everything to piss you off." So
and play as fast as I can humanly do.
Right. Stuart Copeland said, "You know,
love Stuart.
I'm going to hit the and the on every note just to piss Sting off."
Dude, if you ever watched their documentary, I forget what it's called, I think Certifiable or whatever, from their 2007 tour, there's a documentary about them getting together. They're practicing before they're telling anybody that they're back together, right? And there's a section there where Sting is pissed off. He's playing a cymbal on this one beat, just one cymbal, one note, and they're arguing about it. And there's Andy in the corner going, "Oh, here we go again." And they're arguing about one cymbal hit, not a crash. It's literally just a cymbal hit. Sting doesn't like it, and Stewart's like, "I'm going to do this," and they're going back and forth about one cymbal hit. It was constant.
I couldn't imagine being in a band. Fuck.
It's like it's like a marriage, man. As Gene Simmons famously said, it's the closest four guys can get together without having sex.
Right.
And it's also like babysitting all of those people's kids.
And there's always one guy. There's that one guy. I don't care if it's a 5-piece or a 3-piece. There's that one guy. Sting was that one guy. Yeah. Sometimes I might have been that guy.
It happens, right?
It happens.
I've never officially been in a band with you, but I can see it.
I might have an opinion or two. I might be that guy going, "Not that one symbol on that
not
one."
That. Lose the symbol, man.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. So I'm going to jump to number 2 here real quick. My next two are going to be off of Synchronicity. The cool thing about Synchronicity is the fact that year there were only 6 number 1 albums, and there was a back and forth between the Police Synchronicity and Michael Jackson Thriller, and I'm trying to find my notes here. It's driving me nuts. Son of a bitch. Anyway, there were only 6 number 1 albums that year. If I remember right, Michael Jackson was 23 months or 23 weeks.
Yeah.
20. The Police were 17 weeks, and the rest, the other 4, held those. Whatever 8 weeks there. It was Lionel Richie.
Can't slow down.
Can't slow down. Son of a bitch.
Was it
I had them all written
when
down.
Sports came out.
Here we go. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Was it Huey?
Men at Work. Business
Men at Work?
as Usual.
Oh yeah.
Was
Men at Work. Yeah.
8 weeks.
Business as Usual. Yeah.
Lionel Richie, Can't Slow Down. 3 weeks. Quiet Riot. Mental Health.
Nice.
1 week.
Wow.
And Flashdance Soundtrack for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you add it up, it doesn't add up to 52 weeks. It adds up to 53 weeks. The reason why is it was a leap year, and that year started on a weekend, which means there was 53 rateable weeks.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Love that stat, man. It's a very
that is quite a stat.
Anywhere else but here. That's
right.
Right?
No, seriously, that's
I could hear that stat all night long, if you will.
I remember that because back No, but I remember that worked it too, because they were supposed to be, I don't know why they labeled them the Next Police, because they sounded nothing like the Police at all. But they were supposed to be the Next Police. Like, I remember being a kid going, these guys don't sound like, I mean, I love Men at Work, I did, but I'm like, they don't sound like the Police. Why are they the Next Police? And, man.
Right. Well,
Made no
because
sense
it
to
was
me.
twice the members. There were 6 members
Yeah, I
in
know.
the network.
And they famously at the time didn't get along very well either. So
Right. Australian
Right.
reggae.
I mean, with that being said, I am a lifelong Men at Work fan. Love Colin
Men at
Hay.
me too. Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
Men at
Love
Work.
Love Colin Hay.
Yeah, we should put
And
that on the list.
Oh,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of his acoustics, like some of his
Oh,
stuff, acoustic
Colin
is
Hay,
so
man.
good.
So
That
good.
dude,
Yeah.
again, a very unique voice. I don't not bad, but very unique. The guy's got such
Yeah.
a seminal talent that there's a great little documentary you can watch on YouTube. Again, I'm a documentary guy of him starting back up again for the first time doing his acoustic gig, and he's flying by himself with his acoustic guitar, and he's playing at a ball, at a club with like 20 people. And
Right.
it eventually took off. People are understanding, like, oh wow, it's Colin. And there's at the early time of YouTube, people taking videos and like, oh my god, sounds amazing. But he literally was flying to the US playing in front of like 20 people with just him and his guitar.
That's awesome.
You know, there was
Yeah.
one drunk guy leaning up against the bar. This fucking guy sounds like Men at Work.
Who do you think he is, man? At work?
Jesus Christ. Fucking be good, be
Well,
good.
with that being said, I had a note on this. What TV show brought him to the forefront and
Scrub.
brought his
Scrubs.
career back to life?
Scrubs.
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 One of the
I
best
think
shows
it's
of all time, baby.
That show was so
I
good.
think about the implications.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that is the greatest episode.
Yep.
I love that so fucking
That
much.
version, if I listen to that in headphones, I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
I completely the album version I do too, but mostly because of the acoustic version and that Scrubs version. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's incredible. It's
So
really
good.
powerful, and the lyrics are more driving the song than the music is, which is kind of a flip-flop for most music.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so back to number 2.
Right.
Police, Synchronicity, Tea in the Sahara.
Nice.
There is a smooth jazz feel. It's
It's-
hypnotic. The live version was the B-side in America to Wrapped Around Your Finger. In the UK, it was the B-side to King of Pain. So it was never directly a single, but the album started out number 1, release day number 1, Billboard Top 200, platinum, 800,000 K, 8 times platinum in America. 8 million copies were ordered.
We talk about anticipation, right? When you break at number 1.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And that's that whole six artists for the year.
right.
And
What do they got
Prominent-
next? Like, I'm fucking gonna love their next song. You haven't even heard it.
right, and the predominance was Michael Jackson and them, and they kept kind of bouncing back and forth the whole time, and they would maintain for 6 weeks, and then Michael Jackson would pop back up there, and it turned out Michael Jackson openly said that was a thorn in his side, and he thought that he deserved to have the whole year to himself.
Really?
Really?
When you're at that stature, you expect. You think you're the best. Sting thinks he's the best. Prince thinks he's the best. Madonna, whoever it may be. So that makes complete sense. I wouldn't rip on him for saying that because I'm sure. That's why he's doing what he's doing at the time.
Right.
Right.
A Band-Aid came before We Are the World, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because when you're trying to rule the world like
I
he
thought
was
that was
with that
84.
album. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
84. Yeah.
that was 84, right?
Yes, because that was famously because again, not to beat a dead horse, but Prince did not show, and that time that's when Purple Rain was absolutely huge, and so it was 84.
Right.
But yeah, 83. You think about it, he was set to rule the entire world as he did, but he didn't rule the charts because Synchronicity just kept on popping back up in there and taking over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it, Thriller had
Right.
way more hits on it. What do they have? Like 6 hits on it? 5, 6
Yeah.
hits? And legitimately, I think Synchronicity, I would say chart topping hits was 3, right?
4.
4? Okay, yeah, 4.
Yep. And they just kept bouncing back and forth. So my number one is an add-on to Synchronicity, the Japanese release, and then eventually became the American release, and that's Murder by Numbers.
Murder by Numbers, yeah.
So
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad somebody got it in.
Technically, it was never released in America until 2 years later on the re-release of the album.
Yeah.
This is my favorite song by them. It will always be my favorite song by them. Frank Zappa famously did live covers of this, and it's just amazing. Murder by Numbers was a Every Breath You Take B-side, and it was only released on the cassette. It was never released on the album initially. And then
it wasn't until the CD came out later on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Vinyl, it was never released on vinyl. Yeah.
Not enough room on the vinyl to do it. Yeah.
It's such an amazing song. It's so like it's smooth, it's jazz based, but there's a ostinato drum based. There's an eighth note added on to, and it's amazing. That's my list. I will live and die by this list.
Do you remember what female star in the movie named after it? It was late 90s, early 2000s.
Murder by Numbers?
Yeah.
No.
Taylor Young,
Sandra Bullock.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
I love
Random.
Sandra Bullock.
I think they played it in the outro of the movie. I don't know if it was
Really?
named after. It was just that was the title of the movie. And I think the song's in the closing credits. But that's the first thing I thought when I saw that movie. It took me right back to the Police before they even played the fucking song, right? Yeah, great song. Great list.
Thank you. Chris, you're up.
Honorable mention? You got an honorable mention?
I don't. Those are the best songs, and that's good.
Oh, you had a dually in there anyway, right? So
Yeah.
I had an honorable mention when I had a dually, but whatever. I love your list, man.
Yeah, it could be
All
like
right,
my one
okay,
show
hold
where
on.
I said my honorable mentions all Tesla's other ballads.
My honorable mention, I'll throw an honorable mention, is the creepiest song that's ever been written, Every Breath You Take.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty creepy.
Yeah, it is a stalker song, right?
And famously, it was at the time people started using it for their wedding songs and things like, what the hell?
Right?
Yeah, that's weird.
They don't want
Right?
they listen to the lyrics.
Weird.
It's like having better,
That
man.
is weird. Yikes.
All right, I guess that takes us to you, Chris.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
My list is somewhat basic, I would think, but my number 4 is King of Pain.
Love
I
it.
love the lyric. I love the way it starts with "Little Black Spot on the Sun today." That's my soul up there.
The lyrics in that song are amazing.
But I got to be honest with you. I think I went back and discovered that song because I heard "King of Suede" by Weird Al Yankovic. I got to be honest. And then I'm like, what is this?
I forgot about
bass
that one.
line? I got to go back and fucking hear this song is. Because I had a friend of mine that had that Weird Al, and that was the first Weird Al song I ever heard. I'm like, hold on, what?
Hold
Anyways.
on. Lost on Jeopardy? What?
Right.
I listen to it still, so that's why it's on my list.
Nice.
I love it. I love the drums. I love the bass. I love Sting's voice. Doing some research, I found a little Canada content. The overdubs and some of the mixes were done at Le Studio, which is in the Laurentian Mountains in Quebec.
Oh,
It's
wow.
the studio where Rush used for most of their recordings.
Mhm.
Oh, I did not know that. That's cool.
That was a little nugget I found when I was
Very cool. I didn't know that.
yeah. April Wine also did a lot of recording there, and
Fucking love April Wine.
that's all I have for that. I don't know, just love the song, love the way it's.
Yeah, I'm with you. I won't add any more because it possibly is on my list. So
Yeah, for me, it was on my it was on my list, and I kept on getting knocked down because that, even though it's not on my list, is probably one of my favorite Sting lyrics. I mean,
Right.
your name right now is choking skeleton, and that's
Yep.
that. Actually, if you listen to the box set, there's actually different lyrics. And he changes the lyrics so subtly from a breadcrumb to a loaf of bread. The original lyric was loaf of bread, which doesn't make quite as much sense. But just the progressiveness of the song, kind of going through like a story, and Sting does that very well. David Lee Roth, in a way, kind of did that too, in some ways.
Yep.
The Sting did that very well, to be able to tell a story. You may not know what the fuck he's talking about, but it sounds really good because he's using big words like carrying crow or choking skeleton. Who knows? But yeah.
Well, while we're on it, before you move on, and then I won't have to say this when it comes to me, because since you're talking about lyrics, the significance of the lyrics. If we ever, for the listeners and watchers, we have song lyrics on our expanded list of possible shows. If we ever do a show on song lyrics, King of Pain will be on my short list. Whether it makes the top 4, I don't know, but that's why I put it like that whole verse, but those last 2 lines, right?
Yeah.
For me, it just jumped out at me when I was a kid. And there's some lines in some of the other songs too. That whole album, actually, I thought the songwriting was pretty good.
Amazing. I mean, again, going from first to last album, you can see the progression of Sting's songwriting. You can see, and there's even some songs that are like Tina Sahara and a couple of the songs that count. Some were almost kind of like Sting songs more than Police songs. You can see kind of how he's breaking away.
Speaking of breaking away, Jimmy broke away. His ass breaking away.
He's like, "Oh, Joe's gonna want to Sting rants again. I'm out of here." He'll never notice I'm gone. He'd be talking for 10 minutes and.
So one of the memories I have with the Police too is like that synchronicity with the colors and stuff. That was one of the first band album shirt I ever had. I bought it at Towers in Aurelia. Well, I didn't. My parents bought it for me.
Nice,
yeah.
Right.
It's one of the first, and when you saying that with the teacher, it's one of the first albums I remember loving all the songs on the album. I mean, I was a young kid.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking every song is like, oh my God, I like this song. And every song completely different. And you have a couple songs written by Stuart Copeland, and they're like Mother and Miss Gradenko, which are kind of
Mother Gradenko.
Well, and like Dick and I've said before, we're not musical. I don't play an instrument. I didn't sing. I can't dance worth a shit.
I can't dance either.
But like, I think Police, and maybe not that song, but Police in general. That's the first time I really noticed like a bass. I may notice the bass line. I noticed the drums more sometimes. Yeah. Like that's when I started to notice that maybe it was how my age. I was starting to notice different things in music. Right, I didn't notice the lyrics at first. I would notice the.
But you watch your old episodes. It ties into this conversation now. It was that whole video time, that whole limited music, as opposed to now when you're swimming in music, and it'll come up in my notes. When you got an album, you listen to the shit out of it because it might have been the only one you had, or you only had a couple, so you listened to it front to back. Like for me, for this one especially, I just played it over.
Or if you're going somewhere like on a family trip, how much could you fucking take with you when you had like cassette tapes and a ghetto blaster and like or like
your head,
or a Walkman like at a certain point, right?
Well, even then, like you're saying, I saw my original copy of Synchronicity too. It's unplayable. I literally played it to death.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So my next one is, what are we at? 3? Yeah. So Lonely.
Oh, that was on my short. That
I love this song.
Second.
All right, Chris. We have similar music tastes, eh? So there's 2 of mine. You're gonna get them all, probably. It's awesome,
right? In doing a bit of a dive, didn't realize that Sting had used the lyrics from a previous band that he'd done a song with. Was the band Last Exit? He was
Last
in?
Exit, yeah.
apparently the song was there, but it was based on "No Woman, No Cry" by Bob Marley. I didn't know that until like recently,
Yep.
really, within the last
Today.
couple of months. No, well, in the last
No,
couple.
for me, it was today.
Was it really?
Yeah. Like, I got to add more. I got shit wrote down. I like this song.
Oh yeah, I don't have a ton, but yeah. Love the song, love the bass line, love the drums, love the way he kind of goes off. Sting goes kind of crazy at the end, the way he's singing. Still listen to it. Like I said, it's one of the reasons it's on my list is because I listen to it still probably once a week, right? Yeah. That's all I got for that.
Yeah, that was really on my top 4 until the very last second. I mean, it's a great song.
I'm a little bit like you, Joe. Like a lot of this stuff was maybe not on my list, but they were like stuff was in and out because I could have put different songs on here for sure because there's so many of them that I do like. But and then number 2 is kind of basic too. Number 5.
Oh, for you?
I hit mute. For you, that was number 5, Jimmy.
Yeah, that was like right there, and I just no.
It kept moving up for me. It's one of those times where, like Dink had said in previous shows, like the more I listened to it, the more it went up for me, and I'm like, yeah, no, I got to put this up. Anyways, number 2 is "Message in a Bottle." We've had it already, but that's why I didn't say a lot when it was brought up earlier.
Yeah.
Right, very reggae rock feel. The drums, I just absolutely love the drums, and it's again like I play it once a week. Love it. I don't know what else to say. Jimmy said it all.
I try not to say too much.
No, I know,
Well,
but I didn't have a lot. Anyways, what did I have? I did a little bit of a dive. It was number 65 in Rolling Stone's greatest guitar songs, which I guess is decent, but I thought it would be higher.
Yeah.
Obviously, for me, I think it would be higher. And then number 1 is Roxanne.
Well, Andy Summers.
Wow.
Oh,
sorry, you're gonna say something. I just jumped right into my number 1. Sorry, I thought we were done.
No, go with Andy, and then we'll go with Roxanne.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in. Andy Summers has this infamously finger stretch. So when you're playing stuff like this on a guitar, you could do like a 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. He had this like infamous stretch where he could stretch his fingers and play past the normal spectrum of guitars. And that Roxanne is one of those things where he did a 4 to 7 reach, 4th fret, 5th, 6th, 7th. And he would slide with it and he would play that even further. So this is a drummer trying to explain fretting. But he had an infamous stretch from being able to move his hands across the fret line. So that didn't make any sense, and I probably should shut up.
No,
it makes sense. And I don't play guitar or drums.
Yeah, no, I got it.
No,
I don't think he's probably popular with the ladies, but whatever.
I don't know if they ever
with a stretch like that, I bet he was.
I don't know if they ever but John Mayer is an amazing guitarist, right? And again, and that I think I referenced when we were talking before.
John Mayer from the Chappelle Show. Yeah.
How can I recover from that?
That would help me out.
Sorry. Yeah, well, I was trying to still do my list, but whatever.
No, I was just saying, if you watch the Sting doc or the Police documentary from 2007 when they got the reunion tour, they're playing. John Mayer's guesting on stage. He's like, "How are you doing that chord?" He's all like, "I can I cheat doing this?" And Andy's like, "You can cheat if you want to."
Right.
So yeah,
I never saw that documentary. Now I want to go watch it.
It's so good, man, because it literally takes them from the very beginning before they told anybody, and then them going through the tour, all the warts and everything. It's good.
Yeah, so I picked Roxanne, but I got to be honest with you. One of the reasons why I love, sorry, I'm coughing. One of the reasons I love Roxanne is it introduced me to Eddie Murphy, because that 48 hours scene when he's singing Roxanne. That was the first time I remember seeing Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I love Eddie Murphy, and the first time I remember seeing him was that singing that, and it made me go back and learn know that song, because I don't think I really knew that song then too, right? Roxanne. Oh yeah, man, in my head I'm laughing my ass off because I'm thinking of him singing it, right?
Yeah.
So I think
The
that one of the
song
reasons
was
it's my
so-
number one is because it's like a core memory in my head with
Memory.
Eddie Murphy.
Core
Right.
memory, yeah.
I mean,
But
that
the
song was
song
previously
was
re-released.
so
Yeah, it was released 3 different times, twice.
Iconic, right? Like everybody knows that fucking song.
But that song, when it was first released in
Not
Europe,
when- yeah, not when
it
it was
didn't
first.
take off.
Yeah.
They had to release the second time, like, it's doing a little bit better. And then the United States had to release it 2 different times, and it finally started getting some traction.
Right. Well, the thing about that song, it was so unique sounding. It was so different from anything else around it, and it really made it stand out. It's just it's an all-encompassing song, and it's the timbre of his voice, that Roxanne.
Yeah,
And there was a heartfelt moment in that note stretch that he does there that made everyone go, "Oh shit, let's listen to this."
Right, and then the speed as it picks up, right? It's just
Yep.
It wasn't until I was in
And
college.
then
I
Stuart
realized
Copeland playing on the 3 and the 4, or 3. I'm sorry, 2 and the 4 on that rather than the 1 and the 3.
it wasn't until I was in college I found out that it was about falling in love with a prostitute.
Right.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
it's
And we've all
Didn't know
done it.
any of that part of it, right? That was blew me away.
What are you doing in Winnipeg?
Noted.
You'll see when you get here.
There are no red lights in Winnipeg, or
No,
All
there's
green
no-
lights. What's the problem?
No, they're all green lights. It's all go, go, go.
Shit.
So
they clearly didn't grow up in Litchfield with cocaine and hookers. So
With the cattle and the cows.
right, that grocer money.
I could have put I could have put so many other songs in there, and I struggled for an honorable mention, and I didn't have one, but I'm probably gonna have to say "Wrapped Around Your Finger" is my honorable mention.
Solid song.
And it's
man.
a cool video.
It's amazing.
The video. I was just gonna say the video. I remember watching the video with my sister, and the candles, and commenting like, "I wonder how much wax he fucking got covered in." That was crazy.
He's walking around in bare feet too, man.
Right?
He's got no shoes on.
Well, I'll say this: as sparse as that video is, with just the band circled by all those candles, the video fits the song perfectly.
Yeah,
perfectly.
No, it does. Yeah, it was from that video era that we.
Well, what I loved about that.
Yeah,
I'm done.
What I loved about that song is Stuart Copeland's playing. He would play to the end of the phrase, meaning 3 and 4 of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. He would do. Yeah, he would wait to the end of the phrase to pronounce, and that's a genius. The guy's a fucking genius. Again, and one of the big reasons I started to play drums is because of 1984's Synchronicity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All three of
cool.
them are
Like
geniuses.
Jimmy, you
Let's
say
be
like
honest.
we turn you on to like different songs, whether it's Canadian or just stuff you don't really think of. You make me look at drumming different. Like I've probably heard that song, like I said, with Synchronicity. I listened to it front to back a million times, I'm gonna go back now after and listen to the drumming a little bit.
Oh, dude, the drums.
Closer.
If they had a different drummer, it can be a completely different thing.
But I have a little bit, even in the past week or two, when we knew we were going to do this show. I don't know about you guys, but you start listening to stuff a little. Okay, why do I really love this song? Why is this on the list?
Yeah.
Why?
Make it more analytical. Yeah.
Right, a little more analytical, right? So there has been noticings of different things, but yeah, this drum count I probably didn't catch, right? Not being a drummer,
Well, sometimes
like, that's different. That's interesting. Oh, that's neat. Tap 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 tap.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it's just because I like
Right.
it. Just because.
It's the
Yeah,
feel
Just
of
because
it.
it's fine too.
I've got a lot of music like that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Me too.
And there's fucking nothing wrong with that. Just because is one of the greatest examples of why music is.
Correct. I mean, because at its base, music is mathematical, but it really a good song, you feel it. You know what I'm
You
saying?
feel it, right?
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, on that note, the human mind hears music in a 4/4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So when you hear something that throws you off, it's because
It comes in on an offbeat, right?
measure,
It sounds weird, right?
Exactly. That measure was 1 and 2 and 3 4, 1 and 2 and 3 4, which is 3 4 time. So I mean, that's just how the perceptive our mind is.
Right. There's totally kind of off topic, but on topic. There's a song on Razor's Edge by AC/DC. Rock your little heart out, or rock your heart. And it comes in like on halftime. It comes in weird. I love the song, right? So the guitar sounds like ding, 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 ding. But then the drums kick in. Like, go back and listen to it. Like, I'm like, oh, like the first time I heard it, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then it grows on you, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It comes on the end rather than the whole note. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the whole number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was their way of changing it up.
Yeah. Or their 3-chord structure. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
anyway, goodness, Chris.
for
What a
a
good
drummer. Sometimes
Yeah. So that
for a
was my list.
drummer-
And Dinker, you're up. Sorry, Choking Skeleton, you're up.
Choking skeleton.
All right, so I thought my list was pretty basic, so I'm glad that you guys had a couple of these songs. My number 4 is maybe one of the police songs that might annoy some people, but it's the do da da da. I love
like
this song.
I love that
I always
song.
I always sing along with it when it comes on.
Me too. And you throw it and Roxanne together, and it reminds me of the SNL skit with Kevin Nealon and Dana Carvey in the elevator with Sting.
Yeah. Sting-a-ling-a-ding-ding.
Roxanne. And then Dana Carvey comes in. Do. And Sting's like, fuck off. But anyway, no, I love the song. I think it's really catchy. And I wrote down that Sting has been quoted as saying the song was trying to make an intellectual point of how simple can be powerful.
Yeah.
And that how people love songs like "To Do Run Run" or "Do Wah Diddy," and
Sure.
I think it was his son that came up with the title or the lyrics. Right? They just say basically gibberish, like the album title, just gibberish. But very powerful, right? Like it's a like Roxanne, it's a recognizable police song. Well, I guess they all kind of are recognizable police songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 4. That's really all I have. Like I love the song. So nothing more than that. If you guys have anything to add on it.
It's one of the 47 songs that are on my short list.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, I looked at it. It was on my short list as well. I put it on there, took it off. But like I said, it's one of those ones that I comes on the radio. I don't turn it off. I
don't turn it off. You sing along, right? Like
exactly right. Like
number 3 has already been covered, so it's So Lonely. I don't know if there's anything that was missed that I have in my notes. I think Sting's voice is kind of unique. That's what I have in my notes in this one versus some of his other sings. And at the 55 second mark, there's an instrumental, or no, sorry, there's a 55-second instrumental break. I'm not sure, it's in the two something mark, which is technically a guitar solo by Andy, but they're all playing, right? Awesome. 55 seconds of solid, just no singing.
At that point, it also goes up tempo, which is against their norm. When there's a guitar break, it drops down. They go up tempo.
Yeah, no, really cool. And I probably had heard that a million times with that song. But another thing that I caught in the last week or two, getting ready for this episode, I'm like, oh, that's really awesome. Like, I probably just thought it was just bopped along to it before and never really paid attention. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, that's it. That's number 3. So like I said, it's already been covered. Number 2, thankfully, hasn't been said yet. I fucking love this song. It's one of my wife's favorite songs of all time, and it is Don't Stand So Close to Me. The original, not the 86 remake, which is okay. But I prefer the original. Obviously, it's a song about a teacher that fantasizes about a student, and funny that Sting was a teacher before he was a musician. So that's kind of funny. He said it wasn't about him. It's just generally about a teacher, right? Sure, right. Again, I think his voice, like a Sting, right? His voice, for me, because I don't love his voice. Like I've said, Joe, I know you do.
Oh, I do.
I totally agree that it is different, and different makes it so unique and so good. But because I don't like his solo stuff, I always think of myself as not really loving his voice, but I love the Police, or really enjoy the Police, and really did back when I was a kid. And this song, especially, I think his voice is really cool in. And that's why I said Sting's voice is dynamite. That's what I wrote down in my notes, right, with an exclamation point.
Yeah. Right.
But you can say that about a lot of songs.
You mentioned his voice in that. With his voice, he goes to his upper register a lot, which usually only happens on a chorus. But when he's singing, he's like, da, 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 da.
Right.
He brings it to that upper register and maintains it, versus a chorus is la 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 la, chorus la 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 la. He brings his upper register a lot in this song, and it brings it forward.
Yeah, especially the way it starts, right? It starts with his lower register, kind of slow, kind of spooky almost, right? Kind of like creepy. Yeah. You are a teacher.
Yeah. So he breaks that standard mold with this. And that's one of the reasons.
Right. Did Jimmy cut out there?
Right.
Or is he just stop? That's one of the reasons.
And done.
And I'd also want a Grammy, right, for best rock performance by a duo group in '82 at the 24th Grammy Awards. So that's kind of cool. I have a little memory with this song too. So this song was released in 80, I think, right? So in 81, 82, I was in grade 3. Funny. My grade school went to 6, and then we bussed over to another school in the country for 7 and 8. But when I was in grade 3, the grade 6s at one of those school assemblies put on this little skit. And so it was memorable for me because I didn't really, that might have been my introduction to the song, actually. They did this skit without, it wasn't about a teacher and student. It was a bunch of students all kept moving away from each other because one of them was standing too close to them. They played the whole song and they played out this stupid skit, but it was for grade 3. What are you, 8, 9, right? It was memorable for me. I was like, whatever with the skits, fine, it's kind of funny, but it was the song, right? Blasting in the gym. I'm like, what is this song? And it was probably not long after that, like a year or 2 after that, when I went out, and which is a good segue into my number 1. My number 1 is King of Pain, hence the choking skeleton. Synchronicity is the first album I ever bought with my own money, with my allowance. And it came out in June of 83, and I got it at the end of the summer. I bought it that. My dad took me to Kmart in Belleville, and I bought that. And I remember it was my dad, because my dad hated fucking shopping. Anytime I was shopping before, it was with my mom, and I was throwing stuff in the cart, and she would be like yelling at me, and I'm like, no, can we get this Captain Crunch? But it was my dad for some reason.
Most dads do.
That stands out as a memory that, like, holy shit, I was shopping with my dad, and he was probably like, hurry up, grab your fucking records and let's go. But I bought Synchronicity and Dexy's Midnight Runners 2 Raye because I loved Come On Eileen. Terrible purchase. That album is fucking awful. So it did get a lot of plays. It Come On Eileen, I tried it once or twice all the way through. I'm like, this is really, really not good. Even then, I knew that.
You tried the song or you tried the action?
I tried the action. That was probably college. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I still love Come On.
Yes.
Still to this day, I still love Come On.
That's
Eileen,
my question. That's what I was-
We're losing Jimmy here.
we are losing Jimmy.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed because I never dated an Eileen.
I never dated an Eileen either.
You guys are all frozen.
It is. No, we're not.
No, we're not. You are.
It's all trendy now to have like Halloween costumes with Eileen name tags and like spot shots all over themselves. So that's kind of cool. Who would have thought that would have been resurrected? And spot shots is obviously getting resurrected too. I didn't know any other way to say it publicly. Did you say spot shots? Anyway, yeah, Synchronicity. I like, again, not to repeat myself, I listened to it front to back over and over and over again, and I got it for Every Breath You Take, obviously, and then fell in love with all the rest of the songs. And King of Pain being number one, obviously, it's my favorite Police song. I don't know much more there is to say. Chris kind of said it all, so that's it. My honorable mention was one, but I'm going to throw in a second one. But my honorable mention was Every Breath You Take, which I thought I'd be the most basic bitch and not even say it. So it's cool that Jimmy also said it, because it is creepy. And Diddy, it's cool that he's paying Sting, but because of that song getting overkilled, I was like, oh my God, I never thought I'd never want to hear this song again. But I've about had enough of Every Breath You Take based on I'll Be Missing You, right? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, my other one is Voices in My Head. There's a dance, back to the dance thing. There's a Euro dance remix, and it isn't by any Euro people. It's actually credited to the Police. So it's one of their. It's the E Smooth New Pump mix. It is awesome. It was on a bunch of dance compilations in the 90s. It's really, really good. And I was familiar with the song, but it made me love the song. And mid-90s, when I wasn't listening to Police because I was only listening to Alice in Chains and a few other things, I got to go back and listen to some fucking Police because this is awesome. Yeah,
and just real quick on Every Breath You Take. So for a long time, Sting's the only listed writer of that song. But Andy Summers is always like, well, I changed the song. For years, he contended Sting brought some basic chords on the keyboard and a vocal line, and that's in a just.
Then Andy created the song, basically, or
then Andy created the song with the riff, but Sting is still only listed as the only writer. And
so that's you said it on one of the episodes that Andy never got paid, right?
He never got paid, and so as the writer. So if you listen to the box set now, they're in the box set. They have the demo. The demo sounds, it's the same vocal line, but the sound sounds nothing because it doesn't have the guitar line on there. So it's nothing like the released version.
It's not a stalker song.
Sting's contention was, when I bring an idea, that's my song. You bring an idea, that's your song. But Andy's contention, and recently he's kind of been like hinting, like, Sting lives off that song. I mean, he lives off a lot of royalties, but that song is his bread and butter. Right. He's like, that song would not be what it would be without my guitar line. Because Sting had plenty of tries, and he finally said, Andy, you try it. And Andy came up with the very, legendary guitar line that completely makes the song.
Totally
and
makes the song.
Zero royalties beyond performance royalties from it. So he's hinted at recently, the last couple of years, about, if I don't get my due, I might have to sue. But he's talking about, he's like, but that's business because we're still friends and we still talk.
Are they
quite often.
friends?
Yeah, they're still friends.
They're okay now. Like,
well, that's a funny thing. All three of them talk about like they're each in a band. They hate each other, but separately they're brothers. So, but that song is still a point of contention because Andy makes that song.
With what you're talking about, Andy is the balance point of the three of them. He just takes everything on the chin. And you were talking about Every Breath You Take. It was originally written in, for the sake of the conversation, E major. Andy turned it into a 5-finger stretch, which turned it into a G. So he Sting was writing it like this, and Andy said, "No, I'm going to make it fucking hard as fuck and a jazz chord."
Yeah,
and he did this, and that's
because before Andy was with the band, he was actually the second guitarist. He replaced the original guitarist. What was his name? But he was originally. What's that?
It was originally a 4-piece. Yeah.
No. It was just a 3-piece, and then they brought Andy in to replace the guitarist they had, and I forget the guy's name, but Andy was a studio musician before then. That's how they met up, because Sting and Stewart had come in and did some studio pieces on a whim, and they ended up getting paired together with this Andy Summers guy, and they're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And Andy reached out to them and said, hey, you know what? I think you need a better guitarist, and I'm looking to get away from the studio gig. But I mean, that's where he was musically trained and talented, where the other two really weren't necessarily completely trained musically.
It's wild. Well, I got two things I'll add right at the end. It's wild because Sting knows deep down that Andy should be getting some money for that. And secondly, I am craving some KFC after that whole 3-piece and 4-piece talk.
Yes,
I'm fucking hungry. Anyway, well, sorry to break the mood there, but yeah. All right, Joe, it's on to you. Close her out.
Yeah, so mine are
all of them.
Yeah, all of them. Okay, so this is hard for me because, like I said, there's not a police song I don't like, even including the B-side. So what I did is I made a playlist of like all my in Apple Music, which used to be iTunes. I still have my songs rated in the stars. So I figured, okay, I'll do all my 5-star police songs.
Nice.
Well, there was 37 of them.
Oh, that's a little tough. Stay tuned, folks. We're in for another hour.
The last few days have been like trying to pick your favorite child. You just can't do it. But ultimately it came down to the ones, if I had to pick to someone, these are the 4 songs you need to listen to understand the breadth of the band. These are the songs I chose. My number 4 is Darkness from Ghost in the Machine.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It's very, well, again, like Prince's song, Dark. It's a very dark song. It's again, creamy. It's very full in sound. It makes, it's got a very subtle drum.
It's got creamy wrists.
It's got creamy wrists.
Right?
It's got
There's
some great
theme.
It's got some great guitar riffs in it, but his voice again is good. Again, the vocals. It kind of encompasses everything that Ghost in the Machine is about. It's got all those sounds of all those songs in that album, in that one track, I think. Again, probably not a song people gravitate to, being Darkness, but it's probably my favorite song, maybe until we find out throughout my list on this album. Number 3 is Spirits in Material World. There's a song.
Love that song.
Yeah, this song is a Sting wrote while they were on tour on a Casio keyboard. Of note, Jim, you appreciate this. Stuart Copeland says to this day that is the hardest Police song for him to play as a drummer, because there's no beats on the one. Everything is on the upbeat. Everything is, and so for him, it's the hardest Police song to play.
That's interesting.
Yeah, again, it just encompasses everything. It showcases, like Chris was saying before, you can hear the drums, you can hear the guitar, you can hear the bass. I think that's the other thing too. I remember about the Police growing up. It was the first time you could really actually hear the bass. I mean, now we all do because everything's remastered. Everything's
Yeah.
You can hear everything. Bass
Right.
is more prominent. Back then, bass wasn't a thing. It was just to help accompany the drums, right? The
Right.
the rhythm section. But that was a
Section,
remember the bass part always sticking out and having a point to it. It wasn't just following the kick drum, you know.
You know, their songs are so recognizable because as soon as you say it, as soon as you said that song, my mind was like, I don't do that with some other music. Like,
No.
I'm just like, oh yeah, I like that song. I wouldn't start singing it in my head, right?
No, and I can hear the drums and I can hear the bass, like we were saying, I can hear the bass.
And they have so many of those songs, like Roxanne or do. As soon as you hear the title, you're like, oh yeah. I just start going.
They were very good about not really doing a ton of overdubs. You know, a lot of the stuff sounded the same live. I mean, a little bit faster because Stewart liked to play things fast. But otherwise, it was essentially maybe a keyboard thrown in there, you know, or a second guitar, maybe sometimes. But generally, it was generally the basic 3-piece that made up almost all the songs. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Only when needed. And well, Stuart Copeland famously would listen to the rough track and have a drum line and played it in the first, second, randomly a third take. He would just go in and just play it.
Yeah.
And that would be it. He wouldn't
that's
need
true,
to figure parts out. He would just go and play it.
Yeah, because even said, I remember seeing just an interview with him a couple of months ago, and he was saying, I have to go back and learn that because a lot of times that was the first or second take. He goes, I just give me the changes. He goes, he might listen to the song or the demo that Sting had, but then a lot of times everything you hear on the album is the first take.
Wild, eh?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about it.
True.
My second song is Synchronicity 2 from Synchronicity. This song is memorable for me because it's again, the video we're talking about, wrapped around your finger, the red video matches the song. Well, in this case, again, the video matches the song perfectly. Yeah. Also, it's not a typical Police song. It's raw, it's angry, it's not clean, it's not pristine, it's not like the other songs. Like I said, all I can remember every time I hear that song, it's also too. The one song where just that snare hit sounds mean, and all he's doing is just hitting it. And it's like he's not doing anything complicated. He's hitting it hard, but it's just that snare. It's just whatever he's doing, it just sounds mean. He's pissed off, and they're moving down, man. The lyrics again. You know, you're talking what the lyrics mean. What it's about a guy who's fallen in depression, and he's getting paranoid, and he's now seeing monsters in the lake or the loch, as he likes to say it. But it's really about a guy falling deep in his own paranoia. And you can feel that, and you can feel as his anxiousness, if you will, goes throughout the song, gets more intense. I don't know. I'm not a big guy to listen to the lyrics, but the lyrical twists he throws in songs, especially something like this,
got some really cool lyrics, yeah.
And without sounding cheesy or metaphorical, it just sounds. It's for him. I don't know if it's his accent as well, along with his singing style, but they seem legitimate. You know, they don't sound like he's posturing, if you will.
Right.
Well, with that song, Stuart Copeland, if you kind of listen passively, you just hear.
Yeah.
But if you actually go back and slow it down and like listen to it actively, he's doing so much on the ride cymbals and the hi-hats. What did I miss?
The accents.
He's doing so much more beyond just the standard snare beat. And if you go back and listen, it's really, really incredible. There's so much more going on that you don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's actually probably the complete opposite of my number one song. My number one song is Walking on the Moon. It doesn't get more basic than this song. Again, the bass is the driving force behind it. It's a simple
God, I
And it
love
plays
riff.
in my head, right? Like
dun, 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 dun. I mean, and for once the guitar is in the background playing a ching, ching, and the bass is driving the song. The bass has the melody. You don't get any more basic than that song, and the song is so simple, but it's so memorable. And you know how hard that is. I think it's easier to write a song that's more complicated. Maybe it's harder to write a song just drums, bass, and guitar, and no overdubs in a vocal line. And that bass line is, you can't get any more simple than that bass line. It's so memorable in your head. It's a hook,
total hook, yeah.
It's basic, but it's the main focal point at the beginning instead of the guitar, like you said. Like
Yep.
it's basic, but it's the first time I remember hearing a bass. It's like hearing the bass,
right? Yes.
hearing the bass, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sting wrote that song when he said when he was drunk one night after a concert in Munich, and then he passed out, and then he miraculously remembered the song the next morning and recorded it.
Fuck.
So.
Wow.
Again, Stuart Copeland, his cymbal work.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, you don't pay attention to that. Doom, doom, doom.
If you watch the video too, he's doing that on the Saturn V rocket.
Right?
Does he have shoes on?
He's fat, Elon.
Are you wearing
Yeah.
shoes?
Can you write a bass line on that, Elon? Real quick though, my honorable mention is probably a little bit different. It's actually a song not written by Sting. It's written by Stuart Copeland, Miss Grodenko. I referenced it earlier. It's one of my favorite Annie Summers solos, though.
Miss Grodenko.
Yeah, I love the song. It just flows. It doesn't sound like something that in past, because there's 3 other songs I think that Stuart wrote that made it on the albums. It doesn't sound like his other songs. It sounds, when you first listen to it, almost sounds like a Sting song. It's the guitar part by Andy. It's just that flowing, like 5-finger picking he's doing. It just sounds like flamenco, almost not flamenco, but I don't know how to put it. It's very Andy Summers. Only he can play the way he does. But Sting singing the song, it's such a good song. And I don't know. I think, again, that song encompasses everything that Synchronicity as a whole is. And as far as I had to pick a song that wasn't written by Sting, and I didn't pick this one on a whim going, I got to pick this one. It's like, this is one of my favorite songs, and it's not written by Sting. So, make sense?
Yeah.
There's
Takes
also
me to Cheech and
kind of
Chong.
an
Mr.
angry
Stadenko.
fuck you to that.
Mr. Stadenko.
Mr. Danko. I didn't even think of that. Holy shit.
Mr. Stadenko. Class.
One thing I like to point out to people, they don't necessarily know this, but they're like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Class. Oh, sorry, Joe.
That's right. But there's a lyric that Sting has used in 3 different songs. It's a main verse in Everything She Does is Magic, and it's a big enough umbrella, but it's always me that ends up getting wet. So that's the original. That's the original verse. That's in Everything She Does is Magic, and then he repeats the verse in Synchronicity 2 in a song, Oh My God, the very end. You can hear him sing it. And then the solo Sting song called 7 Days, again, on the outro, he's singing that same exact lyric.
Has he ever said publicly?
No, I've looked everywhere. No one's ever asked him, why does this lyric keep coming up in 3 different songs? And
Right.
But I'm interested. It's things like that why? Okay, there's a point. Maybe he just likes the lyric. I mean, it is a cool lyric, especially in Everything She Does Magic. It makes sense of what it's like, I'm holding the umbrella, but it's me that's getting screwed. You're the one staying dry. I'm getting wet. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? Type of thing. But why does it keep coming up?
Right.
3 different times.
There's a posturing to it. Yeah.
So that's, if I was an interviewer,
Yeah.
that's what I would ask Sting. Is like, that'd be the number one thing I'd ask him. Number one, why is this going? And he'd probably be like, I like the lyric. And probably be the end of the story, right? There's nothing cool behind it, nothing groundbreaking. But I always thought that was kind of a cool thing. It's in 2 different police songs. It's in a third police song or a sing song by himself. Again, if we ever do favorite lyricists, I'm going to spoil it right now. And he's my favorite lyricist. I think the stuff he sings about, the words he uses, no one else uses.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
And
we have
especially-
favorite lyrics down, but yeah, favorite lyricists would be cool too, right? Because it would be maybe a bit of crossover there for yourself. Like you like that lyricist, so you might have some of the person's lyrics on your lyrics show, but
Sure.
might be 2 different entities.
Might be
right?
2 different things because you're talking about a whole body of work and then
Whole body of work versus
one
right.
song.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, I don't know. If there was a favorite lyric, it would probably be "Who Let the Dogs Out."
Oh, Baja Man for sure, or Don Dokken.
Oh, don't get me started on Don Dokken.
The answer is Foreigner, guys. It's
The
Foreigner.
answer's always Foreigner.
Corner.
If you don't have an answer, it's always Foreigner. Come on, man.
Or
know
as
the
Joe
chat,
would say,
it's
Journey.
Foreigner.
True. One episode I did mistakenly call Foreigner Journey. It happens.
That's pretty cool. We covered a lot of police songs, and there's still a bunch of good ones that we didn't, right? So that's cool.
Dude,
I
this
could
is-
give you
this-
another 4 now, probably.
Right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if you tell me at least for shoot 2 would be different, you know. Like I said, I had to pick something different for my honorable mention because I wanted a song that I really, really love that wasn't written by Sting.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Mine would. I think mine would for once of all of these, mine would probably stay the same.
Mine's pretty locked into like
You 2 kind of have
No.
your locked in list.
Really?
Though. I think me and Chris are always on the outskirts.
Yeah.
I'm
Dave,
the
you're
worst you
looking
are.
at my list now on Spotify, and of course mine is exactly what I said. But then when I go down my extended list, they're all the songs you guys covered. Did someone use "Can't Stand Losing You"? Did anyone do that? I can't remember.
Nope. I
No.
Okay,
didn't.
so that's the only one. But all the rest of the songs that are coming in the next 10 are all songs you guys said. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that was a good solid show, guys.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
not near as
Yeah,
long
I
as our
think so,
last
too.
one have been probably, but you know, I think more concise.
Yeah.
Which tend to be when we have these artist specific ones, you know.
Totally.
But I want to thank everybody for listening or watching. If you're watching on YouTube, again, click like,
Thank you.
subscribe, click the bell, click subscribe or follow on your podcast app. Click download because the weird thing is podcasts don't count when you listen; they count when you download them. I don't know who made up that rule, but whatever. Again, if you want to know where we're at on every social platform, just go to justrankpod.com. And you'll follow all of our links there for the socials, for the podcast. Again, YouTube show is a little bit different. You get to see the visuals of the songs, or the artwork, or whatever, or the bands, or what we're talking
And
about.
Jimmy walk away.
Jimmy walk away and grab his power cord before his laptop died. And the podcast version is great. The audio version is great because you get to actually hear the music. Because obviously, for YouTube versions, we can't put the music on the show. So, but if you want to listen to the music, or you're not sure, hey, what songs do they talk about? I may not have heard them before. Listen to the audio version because you'll actually hear the music on the audio version.
Right.
But my name is Joe, and for Chris, and for Jimmy, and for Dink, in the immortal words of Donald Fagen, go fuck yourself.
Fuck yourself.
Finger licking.